Hello, I'm Jaime Lammers. I'm a gender specialist and transgender individual, and I have been looking to start a series about my theories and understandings of gender diversity. Today I want to talk about three of the primary um, problems that people come across as transgender individuals, and that is the ideas of imposter syndrome, Frankenstein syndrome, and gender void. These one of them you will recognize, imposter syndrome. The other two are ones that are created theories of my own that I have noticed through my experience of helping gender diverse individuals through therapy. So let me explain these in order. So imposter syndrome, that one is one that most people know about. That's basically when a transgender, gender diverse individual feels like they are an imposter, that they do not know themselves as a true self, rather as something fake, something that is faking or making something else. This is quite inaccurate because an individual is authentic. They cannot be an imposter within themselves. They can feel like they're an imposter within themselves, but that's because society has taught them to feel like an imposter through its cultural upbringing. The idea that a person cannot be authentic unless they fit the mold that society has created for them. And that is where this problem comes in. It's a fairly frequent one I see through gender therapy. The second one that is a common problem is the Frankenstein syndrome. Frankenstein syndrome, again, is something that was societally taught to us and culturally relevant. It's the idea that if you were to change yourself, then you are making yourself into a monster. And so I refer to it as Frankenstein syndrome because Frankenstein had made Frankenstein's monster. And people will actually reference that. Gender diverse individuals will sometimes even say they feel like they're their own Frankenstein monster. This one I see a lot. And again, it is not the person who's at fault here, but rather society trying to teach us that if we try to affirm ourselves or make ourselves more authentic, we are actually creating harm in some way. This would be only true if somebody was not actually doing it to make themselves more authentic or make themselves feel more authentic. Because again, how can a person make themselves into a monster? There is not a variation of affirming quality that would really make you into a monster. You just might have some health problems or something like that, depending on what you did. But a person is not a monster. Monsters are not people. And so when a person feels like that because society made them feel like that, there's some problems there. The third one is the gender void. Gender void is interesting in that it's because of societally created discriminations and anti pressures and things that are forcing someone to have to fight against the current in order to become affirm and feel good about themselves, that they start questioning, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? How come I'm even bothering? I mean, why even make a change? Why even try to become affirmed? It's just causing pain, misery, sadness. But really, you have to remember that if you think that, you're taking on the errors of society into yourself and creating a personal problem out of someone else's problem. It's accepting into you someone else's issues. And so we don't want the gender void to become that internalized transphobia. It's not really worth it because we have to remember that we are we. We are. This is who we are. We're doing what we want to affirm. And if somebody else has a problem for it, we don't necessarily have to accommodate that person in terms of dealing with ourselves. I mean, there's some societally interactive things that we have to do, but we follow the social parameters of normal society in terms of being an individual. And that is what's important. It shouldn't be that you feel like you have to just give up in order to fit into societal standards. You have to feel good about yourself. And so when you are exploring your gender diversity, remember that these three pitfalls are there. the pitfall of imposter syndrome, of Frankenstein syndrome, of gender void, are going to probably rear their ugly heads, mainly because the Euro-American cultural society that we are living in America are causing a lot of us to have these problems, and they're not our problems. But people try to make them our problems. Anyways, if you would like me to talk about something else or bring something else up, you can always put it down in the comments. I am very thankful that you watched through all this, and I will talk to you next time.